There's this great scene in Shawshank Redemption where the character of Andy Dufresne gets sent to the cooler, to solitary confinement for like a week or something. And he comes back and he's perfectly fine because he had Mr. Mozart playing in his head. And he said at some point that he had hope in his heart. And the Morgan Freeman character, Red, I forget his last name, but he was a great character, a great performance. He said, hope has no place on the inside. Hope can drive a man insane. Very true words, but the fact of the matter is hope can do something even worse to you on a daily basis. Hope can make you stupid. Now, I'm following the primaries of the Democratic Party, okay? And there are all these guys online who hope that Bernie Sanders is going to win. Now, of course, these guys are smart people, okay? I mean, whatever you think of their politics, I think that they're abhorrent, but that's not the point. The point is these people are smart. They're not stupid. And yet their hope that Bernie Sanders will be the nominee is so stupid. It's so naive and foolish. But they don't see this because they have put so much of their heart, so much of their hopes into Bernie Sanders, and that they truly think that he can win. They truly think that he can be the nominee. And this is insane. The reasons for this are quite obvious to anybody who's not involved in this. And the reason is, of course, that the Democratic establishment hates Bernie. And most Democratic voters have no interest whatsoever in following Bernie Sanders down this social democratic route, which is really just socialism, which is really just communism. I mean, we all know this, okay? And Bernie bros and the people who support Bernie, you know, they can lie to us all they want, but we all know what Bernie Sanders is peddling. He's peddling socialism. High taxes, you know, crush the wealthy, but more to the point, crush everybody so that we're all the same, common denominator. It's going to be a disaster, and nobody wants any part of this. Certainly not the average run-of-the-mill Democratic primary voter. They are not going to elect Bernie Sanders, not in a million years. They are willing to put as the nominee a decrepit, corrupt, senile old man like Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders. That should be a fucking clue. Yeah, but I don't care about the Democratic nominee. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show you with proof positive how hope can make you stupid, how hope can blind you to reality. Now, this is actually a very, very important topic, okay? Why is it so important? Well, because very simply, in most of the great things that you're going to strive for in your life, you're going to require a great deal of hope. You're going to strive for something that's going to be inherently difficult, something that potentially has never been achieved, or certainly not achieved by you. And so you striving towards this goal will require a great deal of hope, a great deal of, how should I put it, a kind of insanity. And yet at the same time, you have to be sane enough to realize what's realistic and what is not. This is the thing about hope. I mean, hope is a tricky and a very, very dangerous emotion. Yeah. And the character of Red in Shawshank Redemption, he was dead right. Hope can drive a man insane. Because you have hope and you can see the mountaintop you're striving towards. You can see it. You can taste it practically. You see how close you are to the thing that you want so badly, so desperately. Yeah? And it's that hope that blinds you to how real it is for you to reach that mountaintop. Yet at the same time, of course, without hope, you can never reach that mountaintop. You need that hope to fuel you to climb it. If you're all realistic all the time, then you're never going to get out of bed, for crying out loud, you know? I mean, if you're thinking to yourself that, oh, this is so hard, this is impossible, you're always thinking about that, always like hyper-realistic about what is achievable and what is not, then you're never going to get out of bed. And of course, that's no way to live. You have to have hope. You have to believe that something is achievable. And so here comes the tricky part. You have to learn to turn on and turn off hope. Turn it on to give you energy during the day while you're striving towards the thing that you want, and turn it off in those moments so that you can really, truly figure out if what you are trying to achieve is possible or if it's unrealistic. To go back to the case of Bernie Sanders, right? Bernie Sanders cannot win the Democratic nomination for President of the United States. He cannot do so. Not at this time as I'm recording this video. He cannot do so, but there was a moment that he could have. Oh yeah. If he had made peace with the Democratic establishment, if he had somehow come to an agreement, if he had taken on some running mate that had been approved by the Democratic establishment, then he might have had a realistic shot. But he didn't do so. And see, this is the thing. See, the Bernie Sanders campaign is fascinating because it shows you where hope should have ended, should have stopped, should have been switched off, turned off, and where realism should have come into play. It's all good and fine to root for your candidate, but if Bernie Sanders had really done something to play the game, to be realistic in his chances, he would have had to, of necessity, alienate some of his cheerleaders who are just unrealistic fools for the most part. But by embracing the Democratic establishment in order to achieve the nomination, it would have shown that the hope put in him was not misplaced. On the contrary, if he'd shown a little bit of pragmatism, a little bit of realism, a little bit of understanding that he had to deal with the devil, like it or not. The fact is, back in 2016, when he endorsed Hillary Clinton, who everybody knows stole the election from him, there's no question about that. Okay, if it had been a clean race for the nomination, it is likely, not a certainty, but a likelihood, that Bernie Sanders would have won back in 2016. Because nobody fucking liked Hillary Clinton. Everybody despised her, right? But spilt milk, water under the bridge. The point today is that, see, in 2016, he showed himself willing to work with the devil. He endorsed Hillary Clinton because he recognized that if he was going to continue as a senator in Washington, he needed the Democratic establishment. He needed to work with them. He couldn't become a senator who was completely isolated from the other politicians, because politics is a business of consensus. Politics is a business of making friends. It's an ugly business of making friends. And see, if Bernie Sanders had been realistic and really trying to achieve the Democratic nomination, in this go-around in 2020, back in early January, at the latest, late January, he would have reached out to one of the viable candidates, one of the viable establishment candidates, like Buttigieg, like Kamala Harris, like who knows who, it doesn't matter who, and brought that person on board as his running mate. And sure, some of the crazier people on his campaign would have been outraged. Oh, he's making a deal with the devil, you know, shaking hands with the Democratic establishment, blah, 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 blah. But he would have won. He would have won. And now it ain't going to happen because of hope. Hope blinded Bernie Sanders and his supporters. Yeah. They were hopeful. They thought to themselves, oh yes, we can reach this. We can reach this goal. They didn't understand the enemies arrayed in front of them. Or more to the point, it's not that they didn't understand the enemies that they had in front of them. They refused to engage them. They refused to look at them. They acted stupidly by pretending that they weren't there, that those enemies, the Democratic establishment, wasn't there. And instead of really marshaling their resources to defeat them, which was not really possible, or making a deal with them, which was, they just soldiered on blindly, and now they're getting slaughtered. Bernie Sanders is not going to be the nominee, and he's going to get decimated, and more likely not, because of this campaign, he will cease to be an effective senator for Vermont, because you think that the senators in the U.S. Senate are going to forgive him for this? The Democratic senators? Fuck no. They're going to make him pay the price. He will be an ineffective senator from Vermont. His political career will be over. He will be just a third wheel in the Senate. Again, I'm not trying to make a political video. I don't care, frankly. Or let me phrase that. I understand exactly what's going on, and since I know what's going on, I can predict it. I no longer care because it's, you know, it's a solved puzzle. It's no longer interesting. The Bernie Sanders campaign only matters because it shows you how hope can make you stupid, which is the point of this video. You're doing something, whatsoever that may be, some prize that you're striving towards, some mountaintop, right? You got to be thinking to yourself, at once hopefully, to give you the energy to continue, and at the same time realistically switching off hope and looking at things as they actually are, no matter how ugly and no matter how much it hurts. Realism has to be your best friend. Hope is a luxury. The thing is, though, of course, that without hope, you can never achieve anything worthwhile. Luxury though it is, and it is, without hope, you can never achieve anything worthwhile. And so that's why it's so dangerous and yet so essential. Because if you could achieve whatever you want without hope, then, just kick it to the curb and forget about it. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing this video, for crying out loud. If you didn't need hope, but you need it. It's the fuel to push the engine forward. Yeah, it's your illusions. Yeah, that's what it is. Hope is an illusion, and that illusion can drive you forward and potentially help you get to the mountaintop, or in point of fact, not help you, rather, it'll be the essential component for you to reach your mountaintop. You will need hope, when without hope you won't succeed. But at the same time, hope can be so dangerous, so deadly, so destructive. And each one of us learns to dial down his hope. Yeah? Because you have to dial it down. You have to switch it off. You, me, everyone. Each of us has to figure out how to handle hope. And some men live their entire lives dreaming pie-in-the-sky nonsense, and they never achieve anything. And they go from failure to failure to failure, And their heads are full of hope. I mean, there was this uncle of mine. He was such a nice man. Yeah, his name was Julio. And he had all this pie-in-the-sky hopes, and they all failed. They all failed. Every single thing that he ever tried in life failed, But he was so hopeful and happy, But a failure, a dreadful failure, and he never succeeded at anything, and his life was just sadness, to tell you the truth. And on the other hand, you have men who have no hope in their hearts, and their lives are just dour and pathetic, and it's just miserable, right? And they pull everybody down, see? Because these guys who claim to be so realistic, they just shoot everybody's hopes and ambitions down. It's just unpleasant to be around them because it's just a big old downer, right? Well, those are the extremes. Don't be at the extremes. No. Try to be at the healthy moderation of hope. Have hope, but don't let it rule you. Be realistic, but have hope to drive you forward. It's a tricky balance. There's no secret formula or rule to abide by. And there are moments when it is darkest, when you have to shove hope into your heart like a crazy man with a shovel. You see what I'm saying? And there are other times when you are at moments of great decisions in what you're doing, where you have to shut off hope in its entirety and look at things as they actually are. And this is a tricky thing. And there's nobody to teach you this. It's something that you have to learn by experience. Yeah? And that's the thing. Nobody can teach you this. You have to learn it. It's like riding a bicycle. People can tell you about it, as I'm trying to tell you here now. People can tell you how to do it, and some guy might come along and explain the physics of it and all the rest of it. But you can only learn how to ride a bicycle by doing it and potentially crashing. The fact is the same with hope, and therein lies a rub. When you learn to ride a bicycle, the more often you fail, the more you learn. Same with hope. And that's why when you're young, try everything and hope for the best. And always try. No matter how absurd, just give it a go. Because the fact of the matter is you'll fail. You'll fail, and sometimes your hope will blind you, and sometimes the hope will make you stupid. But in those failures, especially when you are young, especially when those failures are relatively minor, as you fail, you will start to understand hope. And you will understand the uses of hope. Hope is a dangerous thing. But at the same time, it is essential. You cannot have a great life without hope. So apply hope liberally when you are young. And soon, by trial and error, just like riding a bicycle, you'll understand when to turn hope up to 11 and when to shut it off.